right, we are officially live in the Before You Go Pro locker room show, and this is where we get after it, you guys. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. We're glad that you're joining us, whether this is live for you or recorded. We want to bring you the truth in the locker room. We're closing the doors, football players, coaches, football families only. You parents out there, this is where we want you to be every Thursday. And I got my boy with me, none other than Q, the guru. What's going on, player?
Well, what's going on? What's going on, Coach?
Hey, man, I can't call it, but this is another week and it doesn't stop in our industry. There's
Ever,
more topics, as you
ever.
see on the ticker, some things that we've already been talking about, and definitely some things that the audience, is hearing about, and we want to keep them abreast of. So thank you for joining us. We're about to get after it, as Jimmy Rucker says. Let's get it. So
Hey,
that's what we're
Jimmy,
going to do,
what's going
baby.
on,
And
man? The
yeah, yeah.
microphone hot, man. I gotta fan this thing off, man. It's steamrolling off this morning.
There you go. So, hey, let's start with the number one topic, man. And this one is something that, kind of hit both of us because this is around our era, our time. And with Clinton Portis, somebody was a dynamite running back out of the U, ended up going into the league, Pro Bowler a few years,
Mm-hmm.
and just got caught up, man. I mean, recently we're seeing that, 6 months in prison and some fraud around healthcare, and some of the young cats might not know Q about Clinton, but what's your thoughts on this? Him getting caught up with the healthcare fraud?
Man, it's sad, man, because it's putting a black eye on the U. With so many
Yeah.
good players coming out. Not as much you seeing now, but we went in school through the early 2000s. It was this, oh man, this killer after killer coming out of there. Great players. But unfortunately, some of those players, man, you see a lot of those same guys like Ray Lewis and those guys too coming out of there, man, and getting a lot of trouble out here. Um, Coach, we
How does a
talked.
guy get caught up in something like that, man?
Coach, we would. I mean, you know what, man? It's just a lot of these, man. Some of these guys are broke, and it's a good hustle, and you do it a couple of times, and you see a couple of your boys get a couple of nice checks, and you figure you could pull it off. And he tried.
2.9 million in healthcare fraud. He
Yep.
wasn't the only one. Carell Buckholter, Rashay Caldwell, Carlos Rogers. So this was definitely a thing. But hey, we got to go on to the next topic. And if you're with us, that's how we roll. We hit something and we get on to the next topic. And this one was obviously something that caught people by surprise, Q. And
Yep.
we already kind of thought that Bama was going to put this away for the second time, but from what
Yeah.
we see, man, it looks like Georgia came ready to play. What's your thoughts on how the
Man.
national championship unfolded?
Man, I would have lost the house on that one, boy. Man, my kids, white air boy, they would have been, man. We would have been out on the street, child. We,
Yeah, man, a
but
few
but
people probably was on the
yeah,
couch.
I'm telling you, hey, boy, I'm telling you, boy, there's some people that were crying in Vegas that night,
Yeah,
literally. But coach,
yeah.
it goes back to what you say, and you young players out here, high school and college, even those of you that might be a young rookie in the league. Hey, that is why you gotta be ready when the ones go down and you're a 2 or a 3. That's why you gotta be ready because Alabama's
Good point.
tools at that wide receiver position, they weren't ready. When Jameson
They weren't
Williams
ready.
went down and the other guy went down, they weren't ready. They weren't
Yeah,
ready.
that's
You
a good
always
point.
got to be ready to go.
That's a good point, and especially you young bucks out there in today's climate with the COVID, injuries are par for the course. You should expect to hit the field, and it might be your first time getting some significant play right in the national championship, but it is what it is,
Mhm.
and you got to be ready for it. So let's get to our next topic, Q, and this is another one, that kind of gets swept under the rug a little bit.
Yeah.
And a lot of
Mhm.
times we see the boys on the field and we forget that these guys are trying to get a degree. They're trying
True.
to further their life. They're in
True.
class, and from what we see, a recent report a year ago, pandemic year, so let's keep that in mind. But African American athletes 16.3% less
Mm.
than their Caucasian white counterparts as
Yeah.
far as getting their degree as student athletes, especially football. Is that something that doesn't surprise you? Is that something that you think is on the athletes or on the administration?
I think it's not on. I would say the administration. It's on the athletes. I mean, again, I get it. We going to school, to play, but you can't lose focus on why you're there. And a lot of times, let's be honest. I mean, and these kids, man, you've been playing ball since you were 5, 6 years old. You going to school to ball, and they're doing just enough to stay eligible, until they can get their shot and not really looking so much at walking across the stage. A lot of people's concept, and it starts with the parents too. They're so caught up in, my kid is a dog and they can, we want this check, you're not really looking at, it's football. It's football. And again, we just said Jameson Williams. I mean, he's gonna be a top 10 kid. We pray he bounces back, but it's football. You're always one play away. And some kids bounce back from injuries and some don't. Let's be honest. So you got to get that degree, man.
That's a good point. And another side matter to that, you guys, is the networking. Don't forget the networking at these schools. I mean, you go to a University of Alabama, very exclusive network. Stanford, a very exclusive network. So what are you actually cashing out on? And you guys got to keep that in mind. So we're on to our next topic. And if you're joining us live, please don't be shy. Let us know where you're from. This is a new show, the Locker Room Show, and it's specifically to serve you as football family. So the next thing is, athletes coming up on the NIL deals, and the quarterback, from Alabama, Bryce Young, superstar, California native. I tell you, Q, he's doing all right. His pocketbooks are doing all right, man. Probably well over a million now, probably at that 1.5, 2 point,
Easily.
$5 million range.
Yeah.
Do you think this is justified for these young men to be making this type of money?
Absolutely. I mean, hey, you're a 4 or 5 star kid. You're one of the most prolific programs in history, what we can honestly say. And guess what, folks? Your coach is making 10 million a year. 10 million a year?
Right.
Absolutely is justified. These kids are, and take nothing away from from Saban and Dabo and these other great coaches, but these coaches are making, the new coach out in from Oklahoma out in USC. These coaches are making $8, $9, $10 million a year. So yeah, it's justified. Absolutely deserves every dime of it.
And as far as potential sharks in the water trying to get at this kid, whether it's the ladies or the marketing firms, whoever, is that just par for the course? Him and his family got to figure that out, or do you think the university should play in that?
No, no, I don't think the university is. I mean, they're worried about getting their money, and I mean, we got a full house every every Saturday. So they're making their money regardless. It's up to the kid and his family. And really making sure that he keeps his head screwed on straight. And again, I mentioned this before. About 2 or 3 episodes ago. Me personally, if it's my kid, hey, some of that money we having like a personal bodyguard or like a someone that's a chaperone because you have that kind of money walking. You can't be a millionaire already walking around campus.
Okay,
Nah,
good point. And
keep him out of
we're
trouble.
on that's some great points right there. And if you're someone in the audience, you got a comment or a point based on what we're talking about, hit us up. You got a question, let us know. So that's a big one right there. And now we're getting on to that time of year, Q, where the young men are going on the official visit.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost time to make that
It's that
decision.
time.
Both of us have
Yeah.
gone through that, and there's a lot that takes place on official visits. Can you
Oh,
give some insight to our audience, man, about what takes place on an official college football visit?
yeah. So, I mean, you get a great tour of the campus. I think now things have gotten so technologically advanced. Listen, I mean, especially you hear about Oregon. God knows them being right there with Nike and that basically being Nike's team as far as college. Like these locker rooms are
Might get an
unreal.
NFT or something.
Oh man,
Yeah.
it'll blow your mind back. So the thing about it is take it all in. But again,
Okay.
going back to before you go pro, and again, the importance of before you go pro, this program is so unique is because you need to know the questions to ask while you're on that visit. Because if
Great
I'm a
point.
young kid, you know what I'm doing, coach? I'm going in the midst of the locker room and then bringing the pretty girls out, and you're a senior and,
Yeah.
losing your mind trying to keep. I'm looking at the depth chart, coach, who's getting drafted next year.
Yep.
I'm going to make sure I have a good conversation with my position coach.
Yep.
That's where, boys are too worried about putting your uniform on and doing all this in IG and posting everything on
Hmm.
Twitter. You need to know what questions to ask while you're there.
Great
Enjoy
point.
yourself,
Great point.
but you need to know what questions to ask.
Great point, Q, because we can get lost, you guys. We can get lost
Easy.
in the dog and pony show, the glitz and glamour. Some of you guys may be taking trips to Division I big time schools. You watching Nick Saban on TV. Now he's in front of you. That was the whole Rick Neuheisel thing. I went to the
Mm-hmm.
University of Colorado. Rick Neuheisel was very similar, you guys, to a Dabo Sweeney today. Someone
Right.
young, energetic. You
Yeah.
want to play for him.
Players coach.
A
Yeah, he
Kirby
was.
Smart,
Yeah, he was.
and how he
Yeah.
was gonna game you up.
Yeah.
He was playing
Uh-huh.
the guitar and everything on
Right.
the trip.
Right.
So,
Right. And then
so
again, coach, and then one thing too, you gotta leave out, what happened to myself, with Ronnie Ward, Mike Allen, guys from Hazelwood East. And don't let it be you got some of your boys, or some of your
on the
boys from
trip
your
with
own
you.
high school,
Yep,
already there.
already there. That was me and
It's
Donald
it's gonna, I'm
Strickland.
telling you,
Yep.
you're gonna get caught up so easy, man. So
So
easy.
easily. There, you guys got to remember, this is a glorified first date. They taking you
Right.
on a date.
Right.
They,
And they're going
if they
all
mess
out.
up the date, they know they're gonna lose you.
They're
So
going
keep
all
that
out.
in mind. They're
Yeah.
going all out for you. All right, you guys. So we are to that time of the show, and if you guys are with us for the first time, this is definitely audience favorite. We've already got DMs, texts about the lightning round. So the lightning round, you guys, is the opportunity where Q, the guru, is going to rattle off the first thing that comes to his mind when we tell him a phrase, when we tell him a word. Usually it's going to pertain to the football industry, but we might have to spice it up a little bit to get some things going.
No doubt. No
But
doubt.
he's got 60 seconds, y'all. He's got 60 seconds to say what comes to his mind first. I know some of you guys got some things that come to your mind, so don't feel shy. Put them in the comment if we say something that brings back a little nostalgia for you. So, you ready to go, Q?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
All right, baby. So we got 60 seconds now. Hey, 60 seconds, his top so far is six. The most he's gotten through is six. So
Six,
let's see
right.
if he can get better than that. We got
Let's
some
get it
guests
going.
lined up for the spring, and we're going to put them through this, see if they can get through it. And if anybody beats six, then we're going to have a dynamite prize on me. It's probably going to include something with a little overnight stay at a hotel or something. We're going to do it right. But
Somewhere nice, like
let's
Red
get it
Roof
going.
Inn.
Let's get it going. Let's get the stopwatch out. And I've been told before not to take too much time in between as I'm telling him the different words. So, the lightning round, you guys. Let's get going. We got the stopwatch right there ready to go. 60 seconds, Q. You are on the clock. First thing that comes to your head. Go, Joe Burrow.
Oh man, great decision making. Good game manager, solid on.
Q is the coach. Is your team in Nike, Adidas, or Under Armour?
Nike all the way.
Plaxico Burris.
Probably shouldn't have had that gun.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Got to leave those young girls alone, man. But still has a great legacy in Pittsburgh. He
Okay,
did it though.
okay. Mel Kiper.
Man, hey, he's the second best guru behind me.
Warren Moon. 43
Man,
seconds.
got robbed of his career. Hated he had to spend it up in Canada too long. Or set the Oilers franchise on fire, man.
50
Greatest ever.
seconds.
One of them.
Jalen Ramsey.
Ooh, man. That's a good one, coach. I'm stumped. I just got to sip my
All right.
coffee on the way out on that one.
Well, you can
I
sip
can't.
your
I ain't even
coffee,
going.
baby. Because let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You already had 6, and then Jalen was 7, man.
Yeah,
So hey,
that was
as you
yeah.
guys see, and you were humming, man. On the first one, you Joe Burrow, you gave him some love. There was some time, but you started humming after that. So 6. We may call you, audience, in the
Hey,
locker
I'm
room
telling you.
one day and see if one of you guys could be 6. So there we go. That is the lightning round, and hopefully you guys enjoyed that. And we are on to our last segment, you guys, which is the audience Q&A. You guys don't forget. We got the chat popping off right here. Jimmy's going hard in it. We appreciate it, Jimmy. If anybody watching live has a comment or a question, don't forget, we've already been through this industry and we
No
want you
doubt.
to win, or your kid to win. So if you got a question, whether this episode or later, you
Yeah,
can
fire
email
away.
us at info at before you go pro and fire away. So, as far as the audience question tonight, we're going to pull one that I already got ready for your queue. And this is
Okay.
from the parents, been hitting us
Okay.
up, man.
Good. 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 I
And
always like parent questions.
yeah, this is big time, man, because I know a lot of times the parents are going through things, and I'm glad we have this platform. So, this parent is asking, they're wondering, they're sensing some politics with their kid. This is actually high school. We're not
Okay.
even talking college.
Okay. Okay.
Sensing some politics with their kid. I'm not going to say any names. Uh, Parent is wondering how involved they should get as far as dealing with the coach. Or do you think, Q, that's something that the athlete needs to do alone? What do you think?
I think it's something that the athlete needs to do alone, especially, if this kid has, enough talent to go to college, whether it's D3, D1, whatever the case may be, NAI, but the kid has to learn how to talk to the coach, and you're gonna have to mature. I mean, if it's something that you need to go over at the kitchen table, then so be it. But moms and dads, you see that too much, even all the way at Pop Warner. They start getting in the way, and it makes everything go left. And honestly, it usually makes some coaches, even give your kid even less time.
Harder
So
time.
sometimes it doesn't work. A lot of times it doesn't work in your favor. So kind of rehearse what the problem is, and a good coach will sit down and talk to you, one on one. But I would definitely recommend going that way versus mom or dad stepping in, because when you
Good
go off to
point. Good
college,
point
they're not
right
going to
there.
be there. You might as well learn now.
Yeah, they're not going to be there, and
Yeah,
believe me, especially if they playing at like the level we played at,
yeah,
you ain't gonna access them coaches. You can't just
nah,
pull over, uh, Les Miles when we were
nah,
playing, or
nah,
somebody like
nah.
Lincoln Riley,
Yeah, it's not
and,
going to happen.
get a bunch of time. So
Nah.
you guys keep that in mind, and
Hmm.
hopefully that helps you out, parents. So that's a good one. So hey, you guys, that's what we were talking about with the locker room show. We ain't trying to take up too much of your time. We're trying to hit those topics. We're trying to cover what you guys are thinking. We're trying to get those questions answered, and then we're going to get out so we can get back to the grind. So if you guys haven't already, please
Push
subscribe
push
to
that
our
button.
YouTube
Definitely,
channel. Press
definitely.
the button. Make sure that you share with your friends, your family, anybody that you know that's a player, a parent of a player,
A
a
coach,
coach. Share it.
your
They love
trainers,
football.
yeah,
At
everybody.
trainer, avid
Yeah,
football player, and then we're gonna bring them in. We're
yeah.
gonna bring them in the locker room. We're gonna close the door. We're gonna let them hear, or let you hear their expertise and opinion. So, Q, appreciate you coming on tonight, man, and
Always,
thank
always.
you for bringing the guru advice, baby.
No doubt, my man. We'll see y'all next week.
All right, we out, y'all. Hit the button.